Hien Vu calmly replied Hoa. The bird on one side also said Chen. He also knows how to speak in human language. The devil also said his name. Hui and Jian, practitioners of carpentry. Next, from above, he fired lightning, and then disappeared on the spot. I can see that with both eyes closed. Unstable, this person wants to escape. Rushing quickly from inside, the millions run out. Then it's as fast as a wind fleeing away. Strictly fire from the inside out. He's gone a long way. It's annoying. The speed of this karmic evidence is faster than we. Just lock him up first, and don't escape. Sail the great battle. A leaf immediately flies out from his side. Next, the entire Tai in Citadel was covered in a curtain of water. Cushion, cold smile aesthetic. Foolish, I didn't intend to run away. Interrupted leg body resurrection ritual. I suck so big. You can just leave like that. My purpose. That's what's left of this city. Come with me, haha. Follow his scream. On the streets of countless people, walking around, immediately turned into gold and soared into the air. Carpenter rubs standing on the air, excitedly laughing loud. Gold coins are constantly rising from the bottom, into his body. He stood there watching in amazement and said, and yet, they're skipping the sacrifice ritual. Use the karma of sentient beings to forcibly stabilize his state. He's crazy. He glanced at him. People like you don't understand anything at all. Then he put his hand in front of the body. Suddenly, in front of his chest appeared an object like a coin. After that, it constantly rotates into 4 coins. Form a cube-shaped glow. Strictly standing below, he locked me up with this light. This is SAO. I don't see this as more of a battle. Success. Locked up strict carpentry, SA extremely excited laughing. Use the language of heaven. Ha ha ha, duong battle Kim Kang wall arranged by my own hand. You can hold your feet. Most of the creatures and demons. In this big world, you only use shelter. There is no assistant. It won't be solved in a short time. Be good and stay in there. Wait until we are stable. Come back to find you. When he finished, he disappeared into thin air. Watching him leave was hard to understand. Just leave me here. I don't care. Just leave. You are so confident. My guess is correct. These 4 coins constitute a battle. It's like a miniature prison. This type of strategy has one thing in common. Who's locked inside? They cannot interfere in the battle. Want to fight, you have to find an outside fighter. The crane is currently asleep in the millions. The sound of silence suddenly echoed. Stop sleeping and wake up. I can hear his sound. It startled me to wake up. What's going on? I'm locked up. Come here. Give me a hand. 10 puffs of starfish flying towards. I'm flying and screaming. I'm coming to save you. What's going on here? Where's the evil god? Seriously, look at it, explain. He's using the people on the street as a sacrifice. After initially reviving the power, then use this strategy to lock me up here. What about his position? The outside battle has not yet been. Maybe it's still in the city. The prophet is amazed to hear it. Withdraw the karmic force of human beings. He's crazy. Not even the right kind of sacrifice. Just rape it. The more the dead. Karma, the greater the causal layer wrap the body. I can't be a god anymore. Don't worry about the day first. Try to block these coins with feathers. Make them stop moving. We are in battle. You can't touch a coin outside of the game. If you hear that, immediately nod. He looked at the thought. This coin moves very fast. It's harder than a balloon hitting a bear. After thinking for a moment, he turned around. 4 feathers from its wings immediately flew out. They fit between for pennies. They immediately stopped spinning. The light wall closed tightly and immediately disappeared. A small street nearby. People are constantly screaming to flee. Save lives, fake martial artist killer left. He was chasing people when he suddenly stopped. The wall is broken. So fast SAO. The crane is picking up the keyer coins here. Just picked it up and said, this coin even locked up the old turtle. You must have a small background. It can't be wasted. We have to bring it back for research. Looking at the distance is a bit difficult. His speed is faster than mine. He wants to run. I can't really catch up. Other than this, he's got some magic in his hands. You can skip the sacrifice. It directly absorbs karma. Keep going like this. The big Hydra won't be able to lock him up anymore. It's because his energy is not enough. All new power slope. On the opposite side, I'm also reading 7 books, and that's a lot of people. But you can break my wall of gold. In such a short time, maybe in this world, there is a battle like that. Transmitted by other fairies, SAO. There are so many people in this world. You can also add fire energy later. My strength has been somewhat restored. There's no need to rush anything. We have to deal with these 2 guys. If you let them escape, tell my story to the king of this world. That's the big problem. I have finally fallen to the flesh. It's inevitable. The limitations of the golden age. And the top paid the earned code. Thinking about it, he disappeared. Back to the 2 serious ones. Suddenly, I remembered something. Turn around and tell the world, wait a minute, fight a little bit. The crane feels the contempt is not light. In this word, it's a little unpleasant. Asket Sao Hyan Vu slowly explain. I have a feeling of evil in this Taiyan district. The calendar is not small, even though he followed the path of blood sacrifice. To quickly restore strength. But this kind of trick only God has. This is ridiculous. Logically speaking, the supreme existence created the gods in the heavens. I'm not going to do anything that damages this muscle. When you finish listening, think. So he felt that the enemy had something difficult to say. He won't give up on him. It's so easy in this world. They want to risk their lives with us. Hyan Vu nodded. It's true, but maybe it's because we think a lot. While they were talking, then the dog came in front of us. When he saw the 2 men standing there, he said, of course, this human doesn't cost much. That broke through my wall of gold. The other side saw him coming and spoke. He seems to be getting stronger, he said. Not only that, his body was burned by Udo Min. It has also been restored to its original form. Even stronger than before. I watched 2 people speak in human language. Let's negotiate. When you hear that, your face is hard to understand, full of questions. Russ quickly continued. I have no intention of becoming your enemy. Wait for me to finish. I will leave this world alone. Change it before we go. I can give you some compensation. Hyan Vu, without a thought, answered immediately. Sorry, the old man can't accept it. People of this city, they are all subjects of the emperor. They're not pawns to trade. When you hear that, you laugh with disdain. It's just a few mortals. Hyan Yu closed his eyes and sighed. I am also a mortal. Your Majesty is also a mortal. When he finished listening, he fell into the deep and his eyes wrinkled. And where he was standing, there was a lot of paper money. When he saw that, he immediately told the prophet, do what I say. The bird, without hesitation, nods to fly away. Look at the banknotes hitting Kier. Hien Vu quickly poetic call Ra Yu Du Min fire. There was an immediate fire around him. Banknotes hit around, burned to ashes. You can't access the hallowed Vu. The paper money is diverted into the next wall. Disappeared again, and there was a rock on the roof nearby. My body is slowly showing up right now. Two people, one on one bottom, staring at the enemy. The fire that he holds. Not just a part. Even though I didn't understand what he was saying, but also somewhat aware of what was before. Just to explore. Let's find out how much of my fire is left. Carpentry thought rapid turn. We can only fight him before he consumes all of the fire. We can't make decisions that are too risky. I think he's turned into gold again. Then slowly get on the roof and disappear to see the onion. His voice calmly said. So next change to battle attrition. Right, but it can't be what you want. When he finished speaking, he took out a leaf. Immediately test the law, the real event of the fire. According to the leaf, edema is stimulated. Let him be the center. A bright membrane constantly LAN wide out around. All the places that light covers. He can understand everything. As in the palm of the hand. After discovering the enemy's whereabouts. He was a little surprised too. But the opposite is quite cunning. They also have many places to hide. He once again pressed the decision. Lamb soldiers fake. Let's all move forward. Isotope shit. Come on. Follow the sound of this decision. His eyes are blue all around him. Then there's a blue eye. Suddenly disappeared. Instead, the starlings are flying in the sky. One eye has the same blue light. After sharing the vision for the crane, he yelled out. I saw them and didn't even move. At this time, Rat is walking around the city to find the villagers. He just came out of the ground. Just thought for a moment. The fire of the dead will also die. By then, dealing with him won't be a problem. He had just finished speaking, and the high priest crane was out. Innumerable feathers covered in fire. Go straight to him and hit him. The young man was attacked unbelievably. Scream, this is what's going on. It's not okay. These feathers are infected with Mingudo. We have to get out quickly. Think about it. He looked at his father on the bed. They immediately turned into gold coins. His body into it. Elsewhere in the city, the clones that rubbed the shit out of the action. They were all burned by the sky. They deserve to die, and I found all the karma coins that we've scattered around here. The dark fairy is still riding Theo Udom in fire. Fly on high, looking around. Suddenly, he looked at the house where my fathers lived. Just been raped by Kier. There are still fish in the SAO net. Carpentry on the inside. They are also constantly thinking for. The karma has just transformed. I must have been discovered too. You have to move quickly. Just thought of this. Karma coins on the bed. Immediately under the bed disappeared above. The police now launched an attack again. Hit 2. Feathers back through the hole, hit straight into the house. When I finished this trick, I was a little unsure. You missed it. Hien Vu nodded. You missed it. This is now turned into a coin. Is constantly moving on the street. Running and thinking. The limit of the power of this world is high enough. Coin karma is forged from two mortals. It can also become a feature of only legal persons, or will take that one below. It has now disappeared from this world. After a moment of his karmic coins, gather in one place, and then suddenly disperse in 4 or 8 directions. Each one runs in a different direction. The bird is now flying back next to Haiyan Vu. Laos first. We can't find the coin. Zhu escaped Kier. Haiyan Vu calmly replied. In the data, I saw that he was so calm. It's hard to understand, but if you let him absorb karma of mortals, wait until he's finished. They will come back to kill us. Is your fire still enough to use? Haiyan Yu calmly replied. No, I still have another card. If you hear that, put up your wings and say something. You are indeed beneficial. Haiyan Yu did not pay attention to it, silently thought. It's just the leftover coins. It's not easy to find. We are old, our poor eyes are easy to miss. Let him use a piece of coin. The money's gone. If you blame it, it's a big deal. Think for a moment, and he came up with a great hydrographic strategy. According to his cry. Great battle covered outside. Tai En is using extreme speed to narrow down. In the city, the wind is still running everywhere, looking for ordinary people to absorb karma very quickly. He also felt unusual. The coin quickly gathered in an extremely tense face. The battle has begun to shrink. Haiyan Yu stood there watching the battle shrink. A moment later, he looked at the money. You'll drive me later. We'll fly a few laps around the battlefield. Put that day at the center of the battle. After a while on the other side of the city. It's condensing the body in the air. Haiyan Yu is sitting on the back of the crane, non-stop flying around France. Look at the two men flying high. He started thinking. This is trying to force us into the center of the Sao battle. See Raudo, their fire is about to be used up. Otherwise, you could have fought me slowly. There's no need to accelerate the pace of combat. So we don't have to squeeze it out. And those fish in the net. Seize the opportunity to go to the center of the battle. Arrange the battlefield first, waiting for them to find me. Dealing with them is even more important. Thinking of this, he immediately disappeared. After a while in the center of Taiyan district, the dog suddenly appeared here. Next to him, there's also a huge karmic coin sphere. He looked up at the words in the air and said, "This is the place." Then immediately clasped hands. Poetic 7 battles KVI soldiers. 36 open road. According to his legal beliefs. Coin sphere Kier karma immediately scattered raw. He then turned into a huge number of knives next to him. A moment later, the same dance. The crane is back. Look at the carpet below. The bird was a little surprised. He seems to have been waiting for us for a while. He sat on the back of the horse. In our data. He raised his head and looked at them. Here we are, so we can start. Follow his words. The dagger is stuck on the land, and there is movement. Up 36 open road. According to his voice. A dagger led the way. Disappear in place. Then he suddenly appeared behind both of them. Haiyan Vu, extremely terrible power directed to people down. When he showed up, both of them noticed. Kier's knife has not yet fallen. Then they each jumped out and dodged. This one is extremely powerful. That's nearly 100 miles of road. It was cut in half. It landed on the roof of a nearby house. I looked at the great road in front of me with horror. What kind of tricks is this? The sword doesn't look like much. While he's watching the dagger in front of him. There is a silent sword in the back. A sound appeared next to him. Kier 1 hit 7 defeat again. Haiyan Vu direction, slashed. Follow the dagger down. The sword behind his back moved. He rushed straight at him. There was another powerful explosion. Above high, elves are also constantly avoiding, looking for photos. There's more and more of these black swords. Keep going like this, and sooner or later, you're going to get hit, okay? As soon as he finished speaking, he was struck by a sword. The feathers are flying endlessly. Carpentry stands at the bottom. It's not fun to see the crane dropped. In my current state, of course. Control body of 36 skyline. The executioner is still a bit reluctant. 405 bar. This is the current extreme that we can endure. The two sides fought without knowing it. In a small alley nearby, there's a light watching them all. At the same time, he used the sword to attack the enemy. On the other side, the people are also amazed. It is still the lead to ask, what was that? 10 lively answer, only VI soldiers. I was startled to hear that. No, Master knows only VI soldiers. It's not like we've never met before. They also have no power. Turn paper money into gas. And yet, there was once more such a change. 10 continues. Only VI soldiers are deployed by ordinary people. Of course, we can't get to this level. This trick of carpentry. Only those who practice the human body to the extreme. Only then can it be reconstructed. Even more curious. There's something special about legal persons. 10 I glanced at him. More special than you think. The patient also asked, can you explain a little bit? Miss Ven Zhao. 10 She nods her head. Only people can practice to a certain stage. Able to gain power without fear of the sword. Taoism and the dark arts. That's why most people practice in the world. To get to this stage, we'll give up exploring later stages. Turn all your energy into destructive attacks. It's hard to understand. What's wrong with that? 10 very wrong answers, in fact. Only legal person at this stage. There's still a lot of space to explore. Just keep practicing. Never stop training. Practice gradually. Can grasp the characteristics of the immortal body, does not fade away. Immortal body. From this step back. It's the transformation of karmic currency. And that's just the 6 soldiers you just saw. As far as I can see, only a human can do that. Contains the deciduous air consciousness, is to have seen this immortality of it. And the feasibility of using karmic coins. Combined with chemical, only VI soldiers to create the battle. 36, open road. I asked again, according to what you said. Then Mr. Ra Kier must have lost SAO. 10 His cold eyes watched the war. If there's no stronger trump card. So that's what it is. Move the scene to the battle side. Rat is standing from a distance, staring at the agent who's been hit. The dust doesn't stop flying out. He doesn't know the situation either. Haiyan Yu is inside the rubble, silently transmits sound with the fairy crane. This old man is a bit tied up with the devil's tricks. I can't believe that only humans can use it. It's really eye-opening. The crane lies on one side of the grief in response. The old man is no longer able to fight. The power of these swords is still there. Stronger than conventional air. I just avoided this sword by myself. I just fought with the devil. It takes half a life. He stood on one side waiting for his face to get a little wrinkled. I can't stand Ra. I saw it very clearly. The swordsman hit him. But probably not at all. Otherwise, it's hard to explain. There's powerful life in those ruins. Haiyan Yu hides in the ruins. Thoughts are constantly spinning. If you use that, the opposite, you can solve the evil gods without wasting your life. But they will be rats. Here technology can see through glass. It's so hard to choose on the side of the Avalokitesvara.